Welcome to another episode of Social Proof with Dave and Donnie. And David, you know what?
What?
The comments have been saying, Donnie, are you still on Social Proof?
Why would they say that?
Why would you guys say that?
Every week.
I have 1 week of jury duty where you got to hold down the fort. And now suddenly the world wants to know if I am still here.
Oh my God.
It's still the David and Donnie show. We're still in this thing together.
Yeah. So we see the thing with Jess and Lauren on the Breakfast Club, and nothing's happening here where there's any type of issue, friction.
Do we have beef?
No.
We got to talk some things
out. Hey,
out.
look, let me just share this publicly. I was saying it before we started. I know Donnie's better than me.
Okay.
And that's okay. Donnie's really, really good. So even when you started Full Transparency, I was pushing Donnie like, yo, you need to start your own show, only because I know your audience wants you for an hour. I know that. I just understand how amazing she is. And I can feel that way about my sister because it doesn't take, like, to light my own candle, I don't have to take fire from her.
Absolutely.
You feel me? So I get excited when my friends do well.
Yeah.
There's no, there's zero ego here. There's zero ego.
There's a little ego here.
Really?
Yeah, for sure. Like when y'all be playing on my top, that's what the YN say. When y'all be playing on my top, when y'all see us together out in public at the airports or wherever you see us, and they only recognize you.
They be like, yo, I watch every episode. Donnie be standing there just like this. So you don't see me on the episode.
So you don't see me on the episode? Yeah, my ego flares just a little bit, but I am proud of everything that you've accomplished. You are bigger than this podcast, which is why you are so globally recognized. Aw, if you weren't so far away, I'd hug you. All right, you guys, we have an outstanding episode planned today. We want to break down the business model of a young lady who is here. She's a CEO, entrepreneur, and she's here as a member of David and I's My First Million Accelerator program. It's a program where we are working with a handful of individuals, helping them to position their businesses to earn their first $1 million this year or in a 12-month calendar year. And we are super excited to have the real estate lady herself, all the way from Florida, Miss Tanishia Ravnell here. How are you today?
I am fantastic. Thank you so much for having me here today.
Absolutely. What part of Florida did you come from?
I'm in Jacksonville, Florida.
You're in you're in the Ville.
Yeah,
that's what they say, right? Duval County. You're in the Ville.
Yes.
You know, I like these conversations because you haven't made $1 million in a year yet, right?
Not yet.
I really love these conversations because most people can't relate to someone that's already up 20 million. Right? Or up 30 million. That's some of the people that we interviewed. It's like super high level, but even for our audience, we need to know somebody that's like steps above us. So there's somebody that's making $40,000, $50,000 in, their business right now. But what are you doing per year?
So on average, last year I did a little over 600,000.
First of all, no ma'am.
Can we clap that up, please? Can we clap that?
No
ma'am. That's nothing to sneeze at.
And the year prior I did a little over $500,000. And I attest that to both of you. So I've been following you and been a part of the morning meetup for years.
Wow.
And watch the connection between the two of you come together for Social Proof when you brought her on. And then I fell in love. So you were absolutely right.
She stole all my
She's
people.
so
That's
dynamic
crazy.
in her own right. She's so dynamic in her own right. So it's actually a treat. And I manifested the opportunity to work with both of you.
Wow.
So I'm really excited.
Don't make Dave uncomfortable. We're talking about manifestation.
I'm okay with manifestation.
We all know that he doesn't believe in speaking things into existence.
Not that I don't believe that. I don't believe with that solely. I don't agree with I think The Secret messed a lot of people up because in the video they're saying, listen, I woke up one day and I just kept saying it and it just came to me. And it don't have $600,000 don't just come to you. You know something.
Yeah.
You know something.
Yeah. And what started it for me is like faith without works is dead.
Yes.
So it really took for me to invest in mentorship, coaching. And it really took for me to go outside of my comfort zone to really create the life that I want and the business that I want.
Yeah.
And so you guys were the foundations for that for me when it comes to general business. And then I have my mentor in real estate, the Kiana Watson.
Ooh,
and
you're in good hands.
so I am in Florida But I didn't allow geographical lines to define my success or to limit me. And it's a shame that I had to come to Atlanta to get my mentors. But I did not allow that to hinder me. And I have learned and grown so much and lost my job, which really pushed me into entrepreneurship full time.
When?
And so COVID. I was working as an HR director. And COVID happened, and we had to lay off. I had to lay off more than 50% of my staff. So I literally had to go to each room and let everyone know that they were losing their jobs. Wow. And it was the most difficult day for me professionally because there were single parents, primary breadwinners, and you're having to tell them that we don't know what's going to happen. And it was the most difficult day for me professionally. And I was just like, something has to give. Like, I can't do this. And then a couple of months later, I got laid off because why would you have an HR director if you've had to lay off more than more than 50% of your staff? So
that's crazy.
A good point.
You do the lay it off. You're like, I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
It's hard. And then you're next.
You're next. I'm sorry. Like, yo, what?
CEO was like, you know what? These people that are left, I got this. I can do it.
Right.
Dang.
So you're laid off during COVID. Are you simultaneously in real estate at the same time?
Yeah. So this was 2020. So in 2019, I had got divorced.
Okay.
And
whose fault was it? I'm just playing.
It was his.
I'm just playing.
Whose fault was it? It's wild.
Question a little strong.
That was mad aggressive. But whose fault was it?
It was his. And you know what? It was
Eat your heart out.
It was the best thing. Thank you so much. It was the best thing he could have ever done for me. I feel like sometimes God doesn't allow you to elevate if you have the wrong weight of baggage attached to you.
You talking.
And so when I got divorced, my birthday is like in January 2nd. So I was like, I'm going to go on a trip, solo trip, single, going on a solo trip by myself. And I was like, okay, if I spend a couple of $1,000s and go out of the country to sit in the room and probably just eat my stress away, or I can decide to do something that's going to propel me to the next level. Yep. And so I decided to go to real estate school. So instead of spending a couple of $1,000, I spent a couple of $100 and went to real estate school. And so I set the goals. I was like, January, I'm going to do real estate school.
And what year is this? I'm sorry?
This was 2020.
2020, you went into real estate school.
Correct.
Got it. Okay.
Yep. So in 2020, I went to real estate school, got it done on the weekends. I was still working full-time in corporate. And then February, I got my license. March, I joined my brokerage. And then the first week of April, I got my first client under contract.
Oh, okay. You got your license when?
2020. February 2020.
February. So it took a month to get your license. So you make a decision, a month later, you have your license.
Correct.
Okay. And when do you get your first building under contract?
My first client under contract was in April.
March, April. 2 months later. Buyer or seller?
Buyer.
Did they buy something?
It was new construction. Okay. So she went under contract for new construction. We didn't close it until, I want to say, October of that year. Yeah. So I had the momentum at first, but nothing else happened towards the end of the year.
Waiting for those checks in real estate feels like, did I ever even sell anything?
Right.
Yes.
We're waiting for one right now.
Absolutely. A big one. So I find that.
I'm sorry, real quick, how much was the commission?
So it was a split. So I had an agent because it was my first transaction. So I had someone assisting me on that. So it was a couple of $1,000.
Like 2,000?
It was a little bit more than that.
3,000?
Probably like 3,000 or 4,000.
3,000, 4,000? Okay. So I just want to get the timeline. You can ask this question. I make a decision to do something. A month later, I did the thing I made a decision to do. 2 months later, you got your first piece of success. Like, wow, this works. Someone's trusting me. And then a few months later, you get your first check.
Correct.
Okay, because this is like, I'm trying to outline the journey on how we get to $500,000, $600,000 a year. And some people might say, well, $3,000 in your first 9 months, it's not much money. No. But we got to stay there for a little bit. There's a lot of things you can do with $500. I mean, you can have a night out with your significant other. You could buy some really expensive shoes. Well, really nice shoes are about double $500. You could buy a course where you can learn something for $500. But I have something better for you to do with the $500. I want to meet with you every single morning for the rest of your life. Well, maybe not the rest of your life, but every morning, Monday through Friday, for the rest of the year. I have information and game that have allowed me to build a successful business, a successful community, and a successful life all the way around. But I want to share that with you. But the only way we can accomplish this is not me selling you a course, not me giving you a one-on-one consultation, because even with that, you'll get the information, but you'll need more. I want to meet with you every single morning. Now, would I meet with someone every morning for $500 for a year? And the answer is yes. Actually, we've been doing this thing since 2017. We have what's called the morning meetup. Every single month, we have a theme, whether it's social media, whether it's motivation, whether it's strategy, whatever it is, we have a theme for the month. And every morning in that month, we have a conversation around that topic. And I am giving a wealth of knowledge, not only myself, but a lot of friends, a lot of people that you see on this podcast, they join every single week. So you need a community of people that you can grow with, and you need a coach. I'm your coach. The Morning Meetup is your community. Go to themorningmeetup.com. It's $499, and I will meet you every single morning for an entire year. Give it a shot.
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
okay,
I like where you're going with this.
Yeah.
Stay on that path.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, because I'm ready to jump. I'm listening to you, Tanisha, and I was a licensed realtor, and that's where I had at that time my highest level of success, but it's also where I experienced my highest level of loss, right? Because real estate money comes and goes. Those commission checks are, like street money. You get those checks in, and you will overspend. But even still, I'm thinking about my own journey and how I was blessed to just enter the right rooms at the right times, right? But the average real estate agent within their first 5 years hadn't earned cumulatively over $1 million in commissions, right?
Correct.
You have. I want to know what makes you set apart. What's unique about you that makes you so successful in this industry?
Fearless, ambitious. I didn't always have people that I could rely on. So I'm a mother. I have 3 sons. And so I knew from the time I became a mother that it has to work or it has to work. And I had been in situations in my my adult relationships where I was trapped because I depended on them. And so going through abuse and things of that nature. So just having that type of control. So I decided that as I raised these 3 young Black men, that I want better for them. And I didn't want them to see me struggle or have to accept less than I deserve just to provide for them. So for me, it was like, they were my reasons. I had my sons, most people, they have kids and they use it as an excuse. I use mine as my reason. So that was my drive, especially, having been divorced twice and just having to figure it out. And so that was my drive.
But so many people have kids. There's so many moms who have children who are struggling or they're single, and their kids are their why too. But still, they're not experiencing that turning point, that shift. Right. There's something that you've become during this process.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. So for me, I've always been attracted to business. So I have an undergraduate degree in business management from the University of North Florida. Then I have a master's degree from Liberty University. And every position, just so happened that every position I've ever held professionally, I've always worked directly with the C-suite. So the CEO, CFO, and the COO. Yeah. So they were indirectly my mentors. So I saw them, drive the fancy cars. I saw them take a month to go skiing, going out of the country. And then here I am, like, I can't even go to Orlando. You know what I mean?
Can't even get to Myrtle Beach.
And it just seems so out of like, wow. And you just think like, man, that is so amazing that they get to do these things. And they're sending their kids here for spring break. And I'm just like, we're going to Legoland. You know what I mean? So when you are exposed to it, and then after, listening to you and watching other entrepreneurs, then you realize that you can have that.
What year did you get let go?
2020.
So hold on.
It was
the
September
divorce
11th.
Was 2020.
No, divorce was 2019.
Divorce 2019,
Correct.
2020 you got let go.
Correct.
Wow.
Same year I got licensed.
Oh my gosh.
It was September 11th, 2020.
Back to back.
Yeah.
To back.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. Okay. So that next year, 2021, what's happening in real estate?
Okay, so I was just in a relationship when that all happened, and I was just like, I don't know what to do, right? Because of course I had money saved, so I was okay for a little while.
Real quick, not of course. Like how much saved?
Of course.
So,
Because not everybody.
well, I mean, I've probably had like 10,000.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so about 10,000
Gotcha.
saved. And then of course I had support coming in for my kids, so that kind of helped. But 2021, I was operating in fear. You know what I mean? Going into 2021. So I was like, well, let me work a part-time job. Let me kind of do a little something because I had yet to been introduced to anyone that's going to really help me to see real estate to be what it is for me today. I didn't really have that, right? And so I was like kind of doing a part-time job. And then while I was on that job in accounting, I would listen to social proof. And that was part-time, and I would have my earbuds in, and I would just be listening, and then I'm just like, man, why am I doing this?
Where were you working?
So when 2021, I started working, I was working at it's like this meat company. It was one of my girlfriends. She was the accounting manager there. So she had me to come in to help her part-time because I have an accounting background. Gotcha. And I did it, and it was so mundane, the same. It was just so boring. And I was just like, why am I doing this? And then I decided to actually before that I had worked. Yeah, when I worked for that company, I did that. And then I was telling him, you talk about step out on faith, have a leap of faith. You're working hard for someone else. Why not do it for yourself? So after listening to so many people that just actually do, I'm like, what do I have to lose? So I told my partner, I said, I am going full-fledged in 2022. Like, I don't care.
So 2021, any closings, any clients?
Yeah, I had some closings. Okay. Yep. So I want to say in 2021, I did probably about $3 million in sales.
Which, 3% of that, like 90,000?
A little less than that, because I was still doing splits with other. Right. Yeah, so I wasn't making all my money at that time. I'm hoping people are like listening to what's happening. In January, I make a decision. February, you get your license. A few months later, you make your first $3,000. A year later, you make $90,000.
Not just that. On the tail end of going through some of the most traumatic experiences, divorce, being let go off your job, and we're in the middle of a pandemic.
Yes. From 3 to 7, probably lower than that 70. I don't know if you had to split $60,000.
Yeah.
That's incredible. So 2021. And it doesn't seem like you got super serious until 2022.
Yes.
So how did you just stumble on, $50, $60, $70,000 in 2021 without like actually going hard at it?
Well, because I was trying to figure it out, letting everyone know that I'm a realtor, partnering with, other people that had leads that couldn't necessarily do the work. So, just kind of doing that, and just trying to find my way, try to figure it out, because at my brokerage, they don't provide you with leads,
right?
So you don't get leads.
Yeah.
So
where do you get the leads from?
Well, right now it's because of, I've been in the business for 5 years now.
Yeah.
But when you started?
So when I started, I was a part of a team in a sense. And so that the team lead at the time had leads. And so we would work those. And that's how I kind of gained my experience.
Does Tanisha just not give you the personality of like, she's going to do well
100%
anywhere? Like the personality is just so nurturing. And in a sales environment, we know that follow-up is key. You have to nurture your leads. And you're just giving me nurturer.
Yeah.
You treated those leads well. That's why you're so successful. You treated those relationships very well.
Yeah. I feel like because I have an HR background that, you know, when you're dealing in corporate, you become a therapist. There's a lot of different life events that are happening, whether you work a job or not, right? And so from that aspect, it's the same in real estate. When people are buying a house, it's the major life events, whether they're getting married, whether they're getting a divorce, whether they lost a job, whatever the case may be. There's various reasons why someone is looking to buy or sell real estate.
I think with a corporate background, I think that's an advantage that you have an advantage of patience and process. So I've never been in like a corporate arena. I worked as a server and, you know, did some stuff where you come to my table, sit down, I serve you, I make some money, then I go home. That's been my life. And then entrepreneurship, I have a product, I make the sale. But in a corporate environment, there's a process and things don't happen right now anyway. So maybe that's why I operate in the right now. I'll call Dottie, hey, what you doing at 6?
Now.
It's 4 o'clock.
Sir.
Hey, let's just do it.
It's not on my calendar. Did I get a Google invite for that?
So talk to us about that process. As you approach entrepreneurship, you are going to get the lead, to nurture the lead, and you have to have that patience, but a lot of us don't have that.
Right, absolutely. So for me, so my mentor, Kiana Watson, always said you either attract the leads or you buy the leads, right? And so for me, just really working my sphere of influence, you know, letting everyone know that I am a realtor. And then, like I said, initially it was partnering with other agents that were like kind of team leads that had resources. And so I kind of got my experience from that. And then that was like in 2022. And then that just didn't work out for me. And in 2023.
Real quick, what were sales in 2022?
So sales in 2022, I want to say I did 8 million in sales in 2022. So we just finished 2024. So 2024, I just did over 16 million. 2023, I did over 15 million. So then 2022, I did about 8 million.
When did you invest in your first mentor?
So my first mentor investment had to have been probably late 21, 22.
That makes sense.
Are we seeing a pattern?
Yeah.
Are we seeing a pattern?
I hope they're seeing the pattern.
You seeing the pattern, Chanel? I asked you what set you apart. And there are a lot of core characteristic traits that will set you apart, right? Personality traits that will set you apart. But what collapsed the time frame between you having $10,000 in the bank, working a part-time job, and you achieving a massive level of success very quickly was your ability to foster all of your core characteristics and personality traits and put them in the hands of a mentor.
Oh, absolutely.
And say, teach me something.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Teach me how to use these gifts.
That's fire. And so one, I think 2020 teaches us to make a decision. 2021 teaches us to learn, and you made some money, right? And 2021, 2022, it's like join a team, have a group of people that I can work with.
Yeah. 2022 is like, I'm hungry.
Yeah.
I'm going after it. Right. And 2023 was like, okay, girl. And then from there, it's like
2023, she said double up.
Yeah, double up.
Double
right.
up.
Double up.
Right.
That's significant.
Yeah. And so, because what happened is, I think a lot of times when you get into this industry, especially from real estate, you may see someone that's doing amazing and you just kind of just like have these preconceived notions that they're going to be like your real estate bestie or they're going to be the ones that's going to mentor you. And a lot of people are not open to that, right?
Yeah, for sure.
And so I had to come to that realization, and then I had to say, well, everything is figure outable. So I'm going to figure it out. And then I, saw Kiana Watson, she was doing it, and she started, Agents Tools for Success. So I started paying for a course here, a course there. Then I joined her program, morning meetup, reading books, just kind of really focusing on creating my real estate practice to be what it is that I want it to be. And then as I've had other agents to be inspired by me, I was like, I'm going to be everything that I didn't have.
Yeah.
Because there is a space there that agents don't have the support that they need, especially in my local market for sure.
Wow.
And now you're actually providing that support to agents.
Yeah, I am.
Tell me about that.
So for me, in real estate, it is sales. And I've been told my entire career that I'm going to be awesome in sales, but I don't see myself as a salesperson.
Yeah.
So real estate, I think I always let people know that it is a business, right? It's not a job. Yeah. And I think a lot of people get their real estate license, it's glamorized, and they think, oh, get my real estate license, make all this money, and all I have to do is just open doors. It is so much more than that. Yeah. So it's a business. So I run, even though I'm part of a brokerage, I run my own real estate practice as my own business, right? And so I have everything set up. I have my core values, my mission statement, the whole thing that I've learned in corporate and undergrad and grad school. Yeah. And I said, I am just going to create, because eventually I'm going to go independent, but why not start the foundation now and build from there? Yeah. And so that's what I do. So people ask me, like, what is it you do? Like, I literally put in the work. I utilize people, systems, and things to help me to grow and scale my business, and just being consistent, but understanding that I have to put in the time now in order for me to be able to develop this company to be what I want it to be later.
But you actually have a program.
Yes.
Okay.
So because I've had so many agents to say, how are you doing what you're doing? Especially agents that are more experienced than me. Some of the agents that I looked to help me that wasn't willing to help me then. Sometimes people little girl you. They will little girl you
real fast, all right?
And then they see you doing things, and I was like, let me get attached to that.
Big girl. Big 16 million sales last year.
Come on, man, talk about it.
So what I've decided to do, so naturally, as other agents would join my brokerage, I was kind of just like mentor them and just kind of telling them what they want to do. But then I've had people that want me to kind of like show them my way. But after I myself have invested thousands of dollars in mentorship and programs and coaching and things of that nature, I understand the value of making that investment. And I feel like it's at a disadvantage just to give someone the information for free, because they're not going to value it. And I remember when I would watch things, they'd be like, oh, join this. I'm like, they're just trying to get some money. And, so I was like, I don't know.
Been there.
But when I made a 5-figure investment in a mastermind, that was the year I did over $500,000. And so from there, I'm like, oh, bet, what else can I invest in?
Let's go.
How else can I grow, right? And so
would you give someone 5 figures to make 6? Of course.
Absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. And I became a believer. But if I would have allowed fear to hinder me and not have stepped out on faith, then I probably would still be doing less than 6 figures a year.
Yeah.
For sure. I think one of the biggest things about investing is, one, of course, you're investing to get the information, but I think the process of investing allows your mind to look at money as replenishable, right? So if you hold on to your $10,000, your thought is, man, I'll never get this 10,000. But when you let it go and you realize it comes back, you're like, whoa, hold on.
Yeah.
Send it back out.
Yeah, let's send it back out. Yeah, absolutely. Super proud of you, man.
Thank you.
Proud. Your story needs to continue to be shared, because there's, again, a lot of people can't relate to the person making $5-10 million, but we're watching you in real time.
Yeah.
Process, your process and your patience with it. Like, I don't got to make $20 million right now. I'm going to stair step this thing.
Yeah.
And then now the people that I needed help from need help from me. So congratulations.
Definitely. What do you want people to know who are looking to get started in real estate? What would you say to them at the start of their journey?
I would say that real estate is a business. Right? It is not a job. There's no one that's going to ask you, did you make money this month? Yeah. There's no one that's going to ask you to do the follow-up. There's millions in the follow-up. There's money in the follow-up. I would also say, be your authentic self. I think because real estate is so glamorized, because there's, with social media, things of that nature, a lot of people are feeling like I have to mimic, I have to dress, I have to talk, I have to be like that person. I am a polo and jeans type of girl with Vans, okay? Some days my clients will see me done up, some days they won't, but the value is there. And one of the things that allows me to be successful and to demand a higher, rate than most agents is because I save my clients a lot of money. and I make my clients a lot of money. And so I truly believe in always making sure that you communicate the value that you provide to your clients. I don't care if you save them $5,000 in closing costs. Always share that value, because I believe that people will regurgitate, okay, if you save them money and they know someone else that's looking for an agent, in fact, I don't have money for closing costs, they'll be able to, well, my agent was able to save me $10,000 in closing costs. And they will be able to communicate that over and over and over. And then that's when the referrals come in.
So you're basically saying become known for something.
Absolutely.
Right? Get really, really skilled. I have another question. What would you say to the agent that is tenured in years but not in results?
I would say they would need to, they don't know everything, you know? And so investing in, because anytime you invest in something, there's going to be some things that's going to be redundant. There's going to be some things that you may already know, but there's always those little nuggets that can really propel you to the next level. So I would just say, you know, look at your process, get coaching, get mentorship. It's okay to ask for help. We don't know everything. And in real estate, you can never know everything because every transaction is different. So I really believe in, you know, hiring a coach or a mentorship. I have my own cohort where I teach agents how to grow, scale, and run a profitable real estate practice. Because yes, we are licensed with a brokerage, but I run my own ship independently. And that's what I do.
Well, how speaking of which, how can they get in touch with you? And I want you to tell us why they need to get in touch with you. For that struggling agent out there that's like, man, I'm ready to give up real estate. I've been doing it for 15 years and it's just not working out, or I just got started. So tell us how they can get in touch with you and why.
Yeah, so they can follow me on social media. It's Tanishia, NicoleRealEstate.com.
You got to spell that one. You got to spell that one.
It's TANISHIANICOLE Real Estate.
Okay.
So that's my social media handle, social media, Facebook, Instagram, things of that nature. I would say.
Hold on, before we get there, how do they sign up though? Like, how do they? We need a website. Or
yes.
a phone number, a text or
So
something. Okay, our next session, that's where we're at.
That's where we're at. Do you have the website?
I do.
Give us the website. I've been trying to get the website 4 questions ago. So you have a program, right?
Sure,
yes. So if you're interested in learning from me and joining my 90-day cohort, you can go to 90daythriveblueprint.com and you can sign up. The cohort starts every 90 days. The next cohort will start on April the 8th. Registration ends on the 2nd of April.
Okay.
Cool. If they're watching this after that date, you'll have other cohorts, yes?
Yes, they can. Okay. Yeah, they can check it out for the next cohort.
Is it 90 spelled out or the number 90?
The number 90.
I would tell Tanisha to condense like her social media name, and she's a lover of a lot of long names, right? Yeah. I would say do that, but she making money.
She making money.
She knows a thing or two about a thing or two. You know what I mean?
And I know why she gave the Instagram, because I relate to that. You don't want to seem salesy or pushy or whatever, which is why I trust you.
Yeah.
Because you don't seem like the person, hey, if you really want to make money and like that's not you. It's like, hey, just follow me. Just let me know the journey. I'm making money in real estate.
That's me with my clients.
If they simply want to buy or sell a home from you, hit you on Instagram or? Yes,
they can go on my Instagram and they can book a call and a link in my bio, my link tree.
I love that. I don't know. I don't live in Florida, but my heartstrings say if you're looking for a home in Florida or looking to sell a property in Florida, she's gonna take care of you. I would say reach out. This has been great.
Yes,
you really articulate yourself well, and I see why you do well in real estate. You take your time. You are gentle but effective.
Yes.
Thank you.
So end it off with, tell us why they need to contact you for that agent.
Well, you need to contact me because it's going to first start with your mindset, right? I was once that agent that just got my real estate license actually only to invest. So I didn't get my real estate license to go into the practice of real estate. But then as I dove into the industry and I saw the impact that I was able to give to not only my life, but to my clients, it changed the whole game for me. And then when I invested in coaching and mentorship, when I did not have it, then it just really allowed me to respect that arena of the business. And I want to be to you what I didn't have.
Yeah.
And I have the capability of doing that. And then I also have the social proof. Yes, because one of the things I'm always going to do is I'm going to show those numbers.
Come on.
We're going to show the receipts.
Receipts.
We're going to log in and we're going to show you the receipts. And so it can be done. And one thing about real estate, I feel like it's recession proof because everyone needs shelter.
Yeah.
That's a human need. Yeah. And so there's a way to do it, and there's a way to do it that's unique to you. You don't have to be all of these other things. I'm going to help you identify how you can grow your own real estate practice, just being your authentic self.
Love that for you.
That was good.
You guys, this has been another outstanding episode of the Social Proof Podcast. We hope that you've been inspired by this episode. In fact, I don't want to hope about it. I want to know about it. Tell us in the comments what Tanishia may have said on this episode that resonates with you. Maybe you're in real estate, maybe you're not. Maybe you picked up a nugget that you can implement in your own business, or just a way of being or a way of presenting yourself. Whatever it is, just let us know what it is in the comments. As usual, you can check us out here every single week. You can also check David and I out in our mentorship communities, themorningmeetup.com and actionableceo.com, where we work with entrepreneurs every single day to get you on your journey successfully. And we help you do that in a shorter period of time. And we don't have to say it for ourselves because Tanisha said a lot of that for us in this episode. We will see you next week. Bye-bye.
You just watched this whole episode. If you like this episode, watch this one right here. Click right here. You're going to like this one if you like the one you just watched. Check it out.